What's up, Patriots fans? Buckle up because things are getting really interesting in Foxborough, and we've got a whole lot to unpack. From the Stefon Diggs situation that just won't stop twisting and turning to the wide receiver room looking more crowded than ever, and even whispers about one of the NFL's most feared defenders potentially changing teams. This episode has it all. So, let's get into it. Let's kick things off with the ongoing Stefon Diggs drama because honestly, it just refuses to cool down. The situation's been unfolding piece by piece, and every time we think it's about to settle, another detail surfaces that throws everything into question again. Diggs hasn't reported to the team's voluntary OTAs. And look, we get it. These sessions are optional, and for a seasoned veteran like him, skipping this part of the offseason isn't exactly scandalous. But when you pair his absence with everything else that's been going on, cryptic videos, vague press comments, and behind-the-scenes whispers, you start to wonder what's really happening here. Now, let's talk contracts, because that's where things take a turn. Diggs signed a 3-year deal worth $69 million. Out of that, $26 million are guaranteed, or so it seems at first glance. But here's the catch. There's a clause buried in the deal that gives the Patriots a potential out. Until Diggs passes a full physical, the team isn't financially committed. In other words, if he doesn't get medically cleared, the Patriots could walk away from this deal without losing a cent. No cap hit, no guaranteed payout, nothing. That changes everything, and it helps explain why some people close to the team have started to mention the idea, even if just quietly, of cutting ties with Diggs before he ever steps onto the field in a Patriots jersey. Former players and local insiders have hinted that the organization has at least discussed the possibility. Why would they entertain that idea? Because in the cold world of NFL contracts, if a player doesn't meet the physical requirements and hasn't become fully integrated into the system yet, walking away might seem like the smart financial move. Especially if there's any doubt about long-term chemistry or off-field issues. Now I know what you're thinking. Cutting Stefon Diggs? Really? The guy's a top-tier talent. He's not just good, he's elite. One of the few receivers in the league who can line up on the outside, beat press coverage, create separation on deep routes, and dominate after the catch. This isn't a guy you move on from lightly. He's exactly the kind of weapon that a young quarterback like Drake May desperately needs. And that's why, despite all the noise, I don't think the Patriots are seriously preparing to move on. Not yet. The upside is just too high. Sure, there might have been some buyer's remorse brewing if the Patriots felt they weren't getting what they expected. If they believed they were sold a version of Diggs that didn't align with reality, maybe the thought crossed someone's mind. But realistically, the most likely outcome is still that Diggs gets healthy, passes that physical, and suits up as the Patriots' #1 receiver this season. That's the best case scenario, and probably the most logical one too. What's really fueling all this speculation, in my opinion, is the fact that we're in that quiet stretch of the NFL calendar, the pre-summer lull. Real football is still more than 3 months away. Training camp hasn't started. Preseason is a dot on the horizon. So when anything remotely dramatic happens, it gets amplified tenfold. And with someone as high profile as Stefon Diggs, every skipped workout or cryptic tweet becomes national news. Still, there's a very real dynamic at play here. The Patriots front office structured this deal with safeguards. They made sure that if things went sideways, whether due to health or something else, they'd have an escape hatch. That doesn't mean they want to use it, but it's there just in case. And sometimes, just having that clause in place gives the team more leverage when dealing with a star player who might be, let's say, testing the waters. And let's not forget the new man in charge, Mike Vrabel. This isn't the same regime as a few years ago. Vrabel is walking into a complex situation. He's got a young quarterback to develop, a fan base expecting improvement, and a roster still very much in transition. He doesn't need distractions, he needs buy-in. And if a player of Diggs' caliber isn't on the same page from day one, that can create friction, especially when you're trying to build a culture from the ground up. That's why this story is so compelling. It's not just about whether Stefon Diggs will play or not. It's about what kind of team the Patriots are trying to build. Are they doubling down on veteran stars who can contribute immediately, or are they leaning into youth and development? Are they giving Vrabel the reins to make the hard calls, even if it means stepping on some toes? One thing's clear, The Patriots didn't bring in Diggs just to let him sit on the sidelines. They saw an opportunity to give their offense a dynamic edge, a true number one receiver to elevate everything around him. And when healthy, that's exactly what Diggs brings to the table. We've seen what he can do. We've seen him torch top corners. We've seen him take over games. He's got elite route running, sure hands, and the kind of competitive fire that teammates feed off of. That's not something you replace easily, but football isn't played on paper. It's played on grass, in locker rooms, in meeting rooms. Chemistry matters. Accountability matters. And right now, the only thing standing between Stefon Diggs and a breakout season in New England is, well, Stefon Diggs. If he clears his physical, gets aligned with the coaching staff, and buys into the plan, he could have a monster year. If not, the Patriots have an exit strategy. There's also the matter of Drake MAYE. Let's not overlook that. The rookie quarterback has the eyes of the entire league on him. Everyone wants to know if he's the real deal. And what's one of the biggest factors that determines whether a young QB thrives or flounders? A dependable top receiver. That's the role Diggs was supposed to fill. If the Patriots decide to cut bait, and again, that's still a big if, they'd be pulling the rug out from under MAYE before his first real snap. That's why this situation is so delicate. You can't overreact. You can't make moves out of fear or frustration, but at the same time, you also can't ignore red flags. And for now, it seems like the team is taking the patient approach, letting Diggs work out on his own, monitoring his health, and waiting for the right moment to make a final call. The fans, understandably, are split. Some are already over. They're saying, if he doesn't want to be here, let him go. Others are pleading, this guy could be the difference maker we've been waiting for. Give him time. And both sides have valid points. That's what makes this such a fascinating storyline. In the end, we're all just waiting for that one key update. Has he passed the physical? Because once that happens, things start to move. Either the Patriots move forward with their new number, one receiver fully integrated into the offense, or they execute the clause and go in a different direction, possibly a shocking one. Until then, all we can do is speculate. And believe me, we will. This is the NFL. This is Foxborough. Nothing ever stays quiet for long. Now let's dive into part 2 of this evolving Patriot story, and that's the fierce competition shaping up in the wide receiver room. If you thought things were complicated with Stefon Diggs, wait until you see what's happening with the rest of the depth chart. There are currently 12 wide receivers on the roster and only so many spots to go around. With training camp approaching, this battle could become one of the most intense storylines of the offseason. Assuming Stefon Diggs gets cleared and suits up, you can pencil him in as the number one option. Right behind him, free agent addition Mac Hollins looks like a lock. He's experienced, he's physical, and he brings that veteran presence the Patriots love. Then there's Pop Douglas, the returner from last year's team who showed flashes of real explosiveness. He's expected to take another step forward and solidify a major role. And don't forget about rookie third-round pick Jalen Polk, who's already turning heads with his combination of speed, size, and route running polish. That gives us 4 clear front runners. After that, it's wide open. Enter Keyshawn Bate. Once considered a first-round talent out of LSU, Bout fell in the draft due to inconsistency and off-field concerns, but the raw talent has always been there. Last year, he was an afterthought early on, barely seeing the field, but down the AGOT stretch, he quietly started to emerge. In the final weeks of the season, Bout was getting more reps and showing signs of real chemistry with Drake MAYE. And now, as the offseason progresses, he's right back in the mix. Despite rumors around draft time that the Patriots were shopping, no trade materialized. Instead, he's still here and fighting like crazy for that 5th or 6th wide receiver spot, but it won't be easy. Kendrick Bourne is another name to watch. A fan favorite with a big personality and big playability, Bourne has shown in the past that he can contribute in key moments. But with his contract situation and the emergence of younger talent, his future in New England is far from guaranteed. Then there's Jalen Polk and Javon Baker, 2 young guys with similar profiles to Bout. All of them 23 years old, all hungry, all with something to prove. Baker in particular is generating buzz. He's got strong hands, crisp, routes, and that intangible quality that scouts call football IQ. The kind of guy who may not have been drafted high, but who understands spacing, leverage, and timing, things that make a difference on Sundays. Still, despite all the tools, he may be best served developing on the practice squad, at least for now. The same could be said for Polk, depending on how things shake out. What gives Bowdy an edge, aside from already being on the roster, is the fact that Mike Vrabel seems to be taking a personal interest in his development. Vrabel's comments during OTAs made that crystal clear. He noted that Bout has shown up in better shape, is displaying a stronger work ethic, and has clearly bought into what the new staff is trying to build. When a head coach singles you out like that in a positive way, it's no small thing, especially in a position group this crowded. Vrabel even mentioned that Bout is showing a willingness to try things differently, to adapt. That's the kind of mindset that earns trust fast. And let's be honest, in this league, sometimes your draft stock and contract numbers matter less than your attitude and effort. Sure, the big names and high picks get more chances, but if you're making plays and grinding every day in practice, you're going to get noticed. Right now, Bout is doing just that. His chemistry with Drake May is growing. He's getting reps in multiple formations, and with Vrabel watching closely, he may have just enough momentum to claim that sixth and final spot. But the race isn't over. Not by a long shot. There's still a sleeper to keep your eyes on. Stefon Diggs. The undrafted rookie out of Eastern Washington isn't getting a ton of national attention yet, but inside the building, people are starting to notice. He's tall, athletic, and showing some natural instincts as a route runner. He'll likely be going head-to-head with Bout, Baker, and Polk for the last roster spot. And don't be surprised if he makes it tough on the coaching staff. The Patriots have a history of turning undrafted receivers into contributors. Think about guys like Jacoby Myers, overlooked at first, then suddenly indispensable. If Chisholm can keep stacking strong practices, he may force his way into the conversation. Special teams will matter too. Coaches love when the bottom of the depth chart can contribute in multiple phases. That could be the deciding factor between two players with similar skill sets. If one of them can gun down the field on punt coverage, or return kicks with confidence, he just might sneak onto the 53. Now switching gears to the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about a name that's starting to make some serious waves. Craig Woodson. The rookie safety out of Cal might have been a bit under the radar on draft day, but not anymore. Taken in the 4th round, he was reportedly high on the Patriots' internal board, and the coaching staff wasted no time putting him to work. With veterans like Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers nursing injuries and slowly working their way back, Woodson is stepping into the spotlight. And so far, he's handling it like a pro. Woodson earned the nickname the Eraser in college. And when you hear his coaches explain it, it makes perfect sense. His DB coach at Cal, Trey Watson, said that whenever a play broke down, Woodson was the guy who made it right. Whether it was lining up in the post, chasing down a busted play, or adjusting to a tricky offensive look, he was always there to clean it up. That's the kind of awareness that translates to the NFL. During OTAs, Woodson has reportedly been holding his own against the Patriots' top offensive weapons, which is no small feat for a rookie. He's making reads, breaking up passes, and showing the kind of versatility that modern defenses crave. Sub packages, dime looks, hybrid coverage roles. He seems comfortable with all of it. And for a team that loves to rotate its safeties, that's a huge plus. Woodson may not be a starter out of the gate, but he's already making a case to be in the mix early and often. He's also a bit older for a rookie, 24 years old, with 6 years of college football under his belt. That maturity is showing in how quickly he's picking up the scheme and adjusting to NFL speed. It's still early, but the early signs are promising. If he keeps this up through minicamp and into preseason, he could find himself playing a key rotational role come September. Between Woodson's emergence, the wide receiver logjam, and the Stefon Diggs drama, the Patriots' offseason has been anything but quiet. And with rumors swirling around big-name defenders like TJ Watt, well, that's a whole different conversation we'll get into next time. But one thing's for sure, the roster battles in Foxborough are heating up. And the decisions the staff makes over the next few weeks could define how this season begins. Keep your eyes locked in. It's going to be a wild ride. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't Be shy, share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could become one of the most sensational storylines of the NFL offseason, whispers around the league suggest that New England Patriots rookie quarterback Drake Maye has reportedly made it clear he no longer wants to share the field with veteran wide receiver Stefon Diggs. Though nothing has been confirmed by either player or the organization, the speculation alone has sent shockwaves through the NFL community. Sources close to the situation have hinted at growing tensions between Maye and Diggs, allegedly stemming from disagreements over leadership roles and offensive dynamics within the Patriots locker room. While Maye, the highly touted rookie out of UNC, has been projected as the future face of the franchise, Diggs arrived in New England with his own established star power and a reputation for being a vocal presence both on and off the field. League insiders believe that Maye's stance may be rooted in a desire to establish himself as the unquestioned leader of the offense, potentially feeling overshadowed by the larger-than-life personality of Diggs. Others suggest that the issue could be more about on-field chemistry, or perhaps Maye's concern about inheriting the kind of high-pressure environment that surrounded Diggs during his final days in Buffalo. Interestingly, this rumor comes just weeks after reports indicated that Diggs was struggling to adapt to the Patriots' offensive system under new head coach Jerod Mayo. Some analysts speculated that Diggs' frustration might lead to him requesting a trade before the start of the season. Now, with Maye allegedly drawing a hard line, the possibility of an early breakup seems more real than ever. The Patriots have yet to release any statement addressing these reports, and both Maye and Diggs have remained publicly silent, fueling even more speculation. Fans and analysts alike are left wondering, is this just typical preseason noise, or the first sign of a significant fracture within the Patriots' revamped offense? For now, it remains a developing story, but if true, it could mark the beginning of yet another dramatic chapter in the storied history of the New England Patriots. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.